The myth that all Indigenous peoples in Canada are governed by the Indian Act is a common misconception that oversimplifies the complex legal and political landscape of the Indigenous governance regarding the Indian Act. For context, the Indian Act is a piece of legislation in Canada. It is federal law that outlines the governance relationship with Indigenous peoples in Canada. It was first passed in 1876 and has since then undergone numerous amendments. The Indian Act covers various aspects of Indigenous life, including status, reserve land, bans, and governance. The Act defines who is considered an Indian for legal purposes and sets out certain rights and responsibilities for those who hold Indian status. For example, the Inuit are Indigenous people in Canada, primarily residing in the Arctic regions including Nunavut, northern Quebec, northern Labrador, and settlement regions of the Northwest Territories. They are not covered by the Indian Act. Instead, they are covered by the Inuit-Nuiganat Agreement, a land claim agreement, and their own governance system. Another group in Canada would be the Métis. The Métis have mixed heritage of Indigenous and European ancestry. The Métis are not considered Indians under the Indian Act. The legal statuses and recognition of Métis people are distinct of those covered by the Act. Many Indigenous communities and leaders have spoken for reforms of the Act or its replacement of more inclusive and respectful legislations that recognize the rights and diversity of all Indigenous peoples in Canada. Efforts towards reconciliation and nation-to-nation relationships have led to discussions on updating laws and policies to better align with the needs and aspirations of Indigenous communities.